So cool, so cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack, just like I'm Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
So cool, so cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What is going on, people? Welcome back to I'm Not Gonna Hold You. This is the weekend recap. If you are a Patreon subscriber, man, you know that this is usually dropping on Patreon each and every Monday, but it's the first official Monday. Ain't the first official, it's the first Monday of the year. Everybody back at work, everybody back to the regular schedule. So I was like, you know what, we'll make it free for today. Plus, we got a lot of stuff to get into, man. But of course, follow your boy at Barbchair Scott at all social media platforms. Same handle as Twitter/X. That's TikTok. That's Instagram. That's the full nine. You know what I'm saying? And of course, subscribe to my new YouTube channel, where you can get a whole bunch of other stuff. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. Want to get about in the football season. Regular season's over, but let's just at least get to the 500 subscribers at 434 right now. So shout out to all y'all who have subscribed. I've noticed the increase in the views and the comments and things like that lately, so I appreciate y'all. Didn't get a chance to say it before the year ended, but I appreciate everybody who supported me and supported everything I do in 2025 and ready for a better 2026, man. So subscribe to my channel. All the links on the description box below to all of my socials, to my YouTube channel, to the Patreon, where you can get the weekend recap each and every Monday on Patreon, where I really go over all the top weekend stories in the world of sports. So getting to that, and of course on Fridays we do the usual live show with the entire crew. So get in tune with all of that. Yeah, man. So let's just get right into it. First of all, shout out to everybody who is watching. Everybody in the chat, this is going to be real interactive. If you want to get in, leave your comments and leave your questions, as we're going to get into all that for the next, I'll say about 45 minutes to an hour, man. So let's just get right into it. The NFL regular season is officially over. We are getting ready for Super Wild Card Weekend, which will be taking place this weekend on all the different networks. I know a lot of people wonder how many services I gotta have. Well, of course, there's Amazon Prime. There's your usual Fox. There's NBC/Peacock, which Tubo is gonna be on. So a lot of networks get the thing done. Anyway, man, the Bears finished this season at 11-6, NFC North Division champions, and will be hosting a playoff game this Saturday, and also have a chance to host 2 home playoff games by clinching the second seed by way of the Philadelphia Eagles losing to the Washington Commanders yesterday. So despite the loss, they do have the second seed, and they will host 2 home playoff games if they do beat the Green Bay Packers this Saturday night, man. So I feel like I got a lot of thoughts on what happened yesterday. A lot of thoughts. We're gonna have some positive thoughts. Gonna have some negative thoughts. It's gonna be a real mixed show today because I have a lot of feelings on this one. But the Bears lost last night, 19-16. The Packers, not Packers, but the Lions hit a 34-yard field goal to win yesterday after, let's just be real, dominating the entire game. Over the Chicago Bears for the second game in a row. The Bears did not have a lead, which I found an interesting stat yesterday. The Bears have not had a lead over the Detroit Lions in 3 years, which is insane. But that's just pretty much what it is. The Bears finished 2-4 in the NFC North, despite being NFC North division champions. They are the first division champion to finish under 500 in the division since the 2010 Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I have no idea who was the quarterback. Was it Matt Castle? It might have been Matt Castle that year. I gotta look that up, see who was the quarterback, but it definitely wasn't Alex Smith because Alex Smith was still in San Francisco, and Patrick Mahomes was still 7 years away from being drafted. So I don't know who was on that team. I'm gonna take a wild guess that it was Matt Castle that year, man. But there was some good stuff in there. Caleb broke the record. We'll get into that later on in the show. I do want to talk about that. But the Bears, I have a very sour taste in my mouth. Pause. This morning on how I feel about what happened yesterday, man. But Mike, I know you're watching. I just saw your text. You don't have to call me a pussy on TV. But anyway, the Bears. I just got a bad taste. Bad taste, man. Losing 2 in a row. Honestly, ain't played well in 3 straight games. It's very concerning. Now, here's the issue where you have a team that definitely accomplished more than anybody thought. Definitely accomplished more than I thought. They won 2 more games than I thought. I definitely didn't have them winning the division. I thought that they would be, if they made the playoffs, it would be the 7th seed and they would be like the 3rd best team in the division. So definitely they exceed all my expectations for sure. So you have that. But expectations change as the season goes on. And they have really kind of, I don't want to say disappointed, but they feel like they've kind of stumbled over their feet the last couple games, man. Last week, having a shootout with the San Francisco 49ers, defense didn't come to play at all. I know a lot of people was like, oh, I'm fine with that, Lawson. To an extent, I was too, because I definitely expected them to come out way better yesterday than they actually did. And the issue was they didn't. They played like a team that had no urgency. They played like a team who clinched already. They played like a team who was just happy to be there. While the Detroit Lions were like, yo, I'm leaving here with something. And I think everybody with a brain knew that Dan Campbell was going to come in and try to, like Denzel said, I'm leaving here with something. They had a poor year, missing the playoffs for the first time in 3 seasons. Just had an overall disappointing year, but still swept the Chicago Bears. And, I know that obviously this is not going to make the Lions feel that much better. I know their fans are definitely still disappointed despite the fact that they still own the Bears, if you want to be real about it, because their season's over. So there's that aspect where, yeah, the season didn't end yesterday. But when you're going into the playoffs, I feel like you need to be going in with a little bit of momentum, especially like a team like this. And I really feel like the last 2 weeks, and more specifically yesterday, all of the bad things that the Bears have been getting away with all season just all kind of sprung up on them at once. We all know what this defense is. The defense is not good. The defense is going to have to be reshaped when the offseason starts, 100%. Ryan Poles, I won't say has his work cut out for them because there are some pieces here, and I think the defensive line is a good supporting cast defensive line that if you add one or two actual elite guys on that line, this becomes a different thing. Montez Sweat had 10 sacks this year, which is the first time that he's had double-digit sacks with one team. Obviously, his first year with the Bears in 2023, he had 12 sacks, but he had 6 with the Commanders and then 6 with the Bears. So this is the first time he's had double-digit sacks with one team. So that's good. I saw some stuff from Gervon Dexter I liked. I feel like Grady Jarrett really came on towards the end of the season. Shamar Turner was really good before he tore his Achilles. Dio didn't look that good, but I'm not out on him yet. They have good supporting cast. So if you can go out there, get you a dog, whether you trade or you draft one, excuse me, then I feel this would be a lot better. Max Crosby's going to be on the market. Would not surprise me if Myles Garrett is going to be on the market. Now, obviously, Myles Garrett will cost a lot, but he just broke the single season sack record yesterday. I would give him a blank check, but you also have to fix your linebacking core. I think TJ Edwards, for what he is, did pretty solid. I feel the same thing with Tremaine, but I feel like if you have to cut one of them to make room for bigger additions to the defensive line, you do what you got to do. Secondary is it just tad too slow. Jalen Johnson obviously still hurt. I mean, he's never been the fastest cornerback, but he definitely these last couple weeks he just looks slow. J-Mo had his way with him yesterday. This team really misses Kyler Gordon. And, Nashawn Wright, he had a great year. I can't front on Nashawn, had a great year. Had a lot of interceptions. And I think he's going to get paid very healthy by another team. But he just can't cover like that. Tyree Stevenson, I believe, is not a every week player. So they have a lot of things they got to fix there too. So we know what this defense is. And the defense is kind of weird because yesterday they gave up so many chunk plays, but they only gave up 19 points. Now, the thing with that is the reason why I kind of look at that as still being bad is because of time of possession. Detroit had the ball forever, it felt like. San Francisco had the ball way more than the Bears did 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And those are things that's going to kill you. In the offense right now, I think the offense issue right now is the defense is so bad, which it makes the offense have to be 100% all the time. And I think the offense is good. I think it's made a lot of strides. I mean, you had DeAndre Swift had a career year. Caleb Williams became the Bears' all-time single season passing leader. Had a real good chance of becoming the first 4K passer in Bears history, which eventually I do believe he will get. He was 58 yards away yesterday, and he has over 400 yards that he missed because of drops this year, which is insane. That's number one in the NFL. So imagine if they even catch half of those, he beyond goes that. He had a great year. But this offense is still trying to find its way where it's not consistent enough. It starts, then it stops. I've seen too many quarters this year where they just do nothing. And that's an issue right now. The offensive line was for the season has been great. But like Orlando says here, hopefully Ozzie is available on Saturday because Ben ran nothing towards Theo's side yesterday. Right. It was a completely different offensive line yesterday without Ozzie Trapilio up in there. So we got another comment. Jalen is gutting it out, but isn't keeping up. CJ is tough, but no speed. Second is big camera. Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is going into this playoffs, and we don't know what CJ's status is going to be this week. He left the game yesterday with a very tough injury. He's has a concussion, so he's in concussion protocol. You know what those things. A lot of players don't usually play the same week, so that's a big issue right there as well. And of course, we got the other injuries. We got to see what Kyler Gordon is going to do. I do believe he's available to come off IR this week. We'll see whether or not he does, and if he does, if he is going to be involved in the game plan. We still waiting to find out about Rome Odunze. My personal opinion, nobody's telling me this. My personal opinion is I believe Rome will be good to go this Saturday. I think that he could have went yesterday, but they were just holding him out a little bit longer. But even with Rome, he hasn't played football in 6 weeks if he plays on Saturday. So that's the thing as well. So I saw some, I feel like this season, the regular season at least, should have been a better ending for I'm with you. Yeah, I for me right now, I wouldn't expect CJ Gardner-Johnson to play on Saturday either, short week. But my legitimate concerns when you talk about a team like the Green Bay Packers, who have not had a good season either. Let's just keep it a buck. They finished the season 9-7-1, second in the division. A lot of injuries. Jordan Love has missed the last 2 games with a concussion. Their backup quarterback, Malik, I almost called that man Malik right. Malik Willis. He played really good against the Bears a couple weeks ago. He played really good against Baltimore, on last Sunday. So, he played well, but he has a shoulder injury. He didn't play yesterday as well. The question said, why are the two teams playing on Saturday? Okay, so here's the thing about the Amazon Prime game. So I saw a lot of people upset about that yesterday. So I was told by a very reliable source last week that there was a good chance that the Bears were going to get the Amazon Prime game. Amazon really, really, really wanted the Bears. Like really, really wanted. So my educated guess, Bezos paid a lot of money for that spot. So that's why the Bears are the number 2 seed and they're playing on Saturday. The Bears never play on Saturday in the playoffs. I don't ever remember them playing on Saturday. They're usually Sunday. And I definitely thought, excuse me for the cough, damn. I definitely thought that they would be the Sunday night football game. Instead, they're getting Patriots Chargers, which is, I don't want to see that again. That's an early afternoon game, but that's what happened. Amazon played a nice chunk to have the Bears on this. That's why they'll be playing on Saturday. But like I said about Green Bay dealing with a lot of injuries. Obviously with their 2 quarterbacks being out, Micah Parsons towards ACL, so obviously he's out. He's probably going to be out a good chunk of next season as well. They've had injuries to their offensive line, their defensive line. Josh Jacobs was out there on one knee. Christian Watson had an issue a couple weeks ago. So yesterday for them, since they were locked in the 7th seed, was more about just giving their guys more time. But they're coming to this on a 4-game losing streak. So both teams coming into this game not really playing well. So my concerns for the Bears, I think on paper right now, the Bears are the better football team. They have the better quarterback. I believe with Josh Jacobs being hurt, they have the better running game. Obviously, Green Bay has the better defense. That's definitely not a question. But in the 2 games they played this year, let's just keep it above. The Bears haven't had the lead. The Bears have not had the lead one time in either of these first 2 games this year. There's been a lot of chunk plays given up by the defense, both in Lambeau Field and in Soldier Field. And since I know we forgot because the game had such an amazing ending with the Caleb touchdown to DJ Moore, that we forget that the Bears played like shit for 58 minutes of that game before we went to overtime. And, Romeo Doubs pretty much when he fumbled the offside kick, opened the door for the Bears. So the Bears have gotten a lot of breaks this year, which is cool. You take advantage of these breaks. You never apologize for how you win a football game in the NFL, especially not division games against your division rivals. But you also have to be aware of you can't keep relying on those things. We all know when this defense, we saw yesterday, even though they had a turnover at the end, we saw yesterday what this defense looks like when you can't get a turnover. And in order for the Bears to win this game, the offense has to be more consistent. They cannot afford another slow start, which is a trend every week. There's only been 2 games that I can remember this season where the Bears didn't have a slow start. That's week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys and last week against San Francisco. So that's a concern. Ben Johnson also has some things he's got to work on. I know Bears fans like to do this thing where we don't want to criticize the new coach because we're drinking the new coach Kool-Aid, and I get all of that. But he has to be better at play calling. Granted, he's rookie head coach. First time he's been a play caller and the guy who's running the whole ship. So he's learning just as much as Caleb is learning. But I felt yesterday's game plan was very conservative, very vanilla. It just didn't make sense to me from the jump. I would thought that he would come out way more aggressive considering the straight up shellacking they got at Ford Field in week 2. That did not happen. So he's going to have to switch that up very quickly. You got to get more guys involved. Yesterday, we see what happens when Luther Burden gets the football. Big plays are made. I feel like they were way too Colston level and heavy. Now, Colston has had an amazing rookie season, better rookie season than I thought. Really caught Tyler Warren in the yards and touchdowns. and he's really becoming a go-to guy for Caleb. But there was a point there where I knew they were going to coast and level on every slant. And if I know that he's doing that, obviously the opposing defense knows. So you got to switch it up, especially after the big game that Luther had last week. So Ben's got to be smarter. Ben's got to be more strategic. Ben has got to take advantage of his opportunities. I feel like they should have went for it on 4th and 5 yesterday at the end of the game after that Kevin Byard pick. But I understand him wanting to have faith in the defense, but at the same time, they are what they are. And there was even a shot of him on the sideline. I think it was after the Amon-Ra play that basically got the Lions in the field goal range where he's mouthing should have went for it. Should have went for it right there. So he's got a time to get that together. And I think what kind of annoyed me a lot yesterday was and this is remedial. It don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But I'm like, these idiots didn't even have an opportunity to celebrate the division title you won because you lost the last 2 games. So that just kind of like lightweight irritated me. But like Ben said, it's the first 1 to 4 now. We can sit up here, we can be upset. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to y'all and act like I am confident going into this Saturday, because I am not. I am dreading Saturday, to be completely honest. When I saw how that game was going yesterday, I was praying to God that the Philadelphia Eagles would find a way to win, and I'd rather play the Rams than the Niners. Now, you probably listen like, Scott, that sounds insane with this defense. Why would you want to play a high-octane offense in the Rams and the 49ers? It's because my fan head says I can stomach a loss to them too more than I can stomach a loss to the Green Bay Packers. We got another comment here. So not going to lie, I think the Bears smoked the Packers Saturday. Ben going to wake them up this week and call direct snap to 5-7 RB to the tight end legs. But that's hope for sure. I would love that. Like I said, I've said in the group chat, I would love to be wrong. I would love for y'all to be in my mentions saying that you didn't believe, you didn't have faith. I would love nothing more than y'all to say I was panicking for no reason. I would love it. I don't see that happening. Now, I think the Bears should win the game. I don't see a blowout happening. And if you just look at the last 4 games these two have played, it's gone down to the wire. The first game last season at Soldier Field, Bears had an opportunity to win. Cairo Santos game when the kick gets blocked. Let's go to the last game last season at Lambeau Field. Cairo Santos makes up for that, hits a 45-yard field goal to win at the buzzer against the Packers. This year, came down to the final play in Lambeau Field. Despite how bad the Bears played in that first half, they dominated in the second half. And if Caleb just gets that ball a little higher up to Cole Kmet, that either goes to overtime or the Bears attempt to win with a 2-point conversion. Then obviously 2 weeks ago, the game-winning touchdown throw to DJ Moore. So I think just off that's going to be close. It's the playoffs. There's a lot of young players on this team who do not have playoff experience. There's very few on here that have playoff experience. I think Brady Jarrett is one. I'm trying to think of others. Kevin Byard has been in one. Jalen Johnson was in one, but y'all know how I feel about the COVID season. In my mind, this is the Bears' first playoff appearance since 2018. I don't care about nothing that happened in the world of COVID sports in 2020 when there wasn't even people in the stands. So you got that. You've got Ben going to be coaching his first playoff game as a head coach. And he did not have a great playoff game as an offensive coordinator this past January, a year ago, against the Washington Commanders, as Lions fans like to remind us all the time. So he's got to make up some mistakes for that as well. Well, the Packers, a lot of these guys have been in the playoffs. Now, the Packers do not have a winning history in the Jordan Love era. They have only won 1 game in the playoffs since Jordan Love became the quarterback, and that was in 2023, where they basically ran all over the number 2 seed, I think they were, Dallas Cowboys that year. So, both teams are coming in here not playing good football. We're going to really – this is about who wants it more. And I know you can say that with any playoff game, who wants it more, but really it's going to be about who wants it more, who's going to bounce back from the losses that they took between these two teams. And, I think on a positive side, maybe this loss and the way that the Bears ended the season is the best thing that the Bears needed to learn. Maybe they had to fuck around and find out that could have been it. I know Tom Brady said something after the broadcast yesterday where loss helps the most. So you can sit in it and understand when you made your mistakes. And I think that right now they got to look themselves in the mirror and say, okay, what we've been doing is not enough. And if we lose on Saturday, the season is over. And yes, I know I've been having conversations with Bears fans on social media, and I said that the weight of this matchup, because you got to look at it like this. There's a lot of ways that a loss or win can change things. If the Bears win on Saturday, you keep that good vibe going. You know, all together you would have been 3-4 in the division, including the playoffs. Definitely not good because it's still under 500, but it's better. And then you beat your arch enemy, arch rival, twice out of 3 times and twice in 6 weeks. That's pretty good. If you lose this game, if I'm the NFC North, I'm looking at it like, oh, that was a fluke. Like, y'all finished 2-5 in the division in your best year. If I'm looking at it like that, oh, we just got to make a couple changes and we'll be good. Same old Bears. That's how they're going to look at it. You don't want to go into this 2026 season that's already going to have a bunch of pressure on it to begin with, because this year was the fun year. This year was the playing with house money year. Next year, there's expectations, especially if Ryan Poles goes out there, has a good offseason, rebuilds this defense to a defense that can at least be decent enough to help this offense contend for a Super Bowl. You're going to have that pressure. You don't want the pressure of, okay, yeah, they won a division last year, but when are they going to actually beat the teams in their division? You don't want that. And as a fan, this is just my fan head. Like I said, it's irrational, but this is how I feel as a fan. It will tank the way I look at this season if they lose on Saturday. And it shouldn't be that way. I should look at it as, oh, record-breaking year for Caleb, real good year, 11 wins, all that. I understand all that. And maybe months later I'll look at it that way. But I can't stomach a Green Bay Packers loss for 9 months. I just can't. I don't know about y'all. I can't. And that's what the big fear is. My fear really isn't that much football oriented, because I do believe that the Bears have enough to get it done. And especially if they can get some injury help from having a Roman Dunze out there, having Kyler Gordon out there. I think that will help. But they've got to play their best game. Now, that's the positive thing right there. The Bears have not played their best game against the Green Bay Packers. And I believe if you take the Green Bay Packers' best game with all the injuries they have, and you take the Bears' best game, I think the Bears should beat them by 10 to 14 points if they play their best game. The defense is what it is. We can keep hoping and wishing, but they are what they are. They are bend but don't break. They're going to give up chunk plays, but they don't give up a lot of touchdowns, especially in the red zone. So you got to take advantage of that. Every drive you have, it has to be efficient. We ain't got no time for galaxy braining, any of that. But on the other side of this, if you win, you finally take down the beast. And I think, not that the players worry about, I don't think the players care about the Bears losing to the Packers all these time. A lot of these guys are very, very young. They don't remember this. A lot of them don't even remember Brett Favre terrorizing the Bears. I'm old. I'm 37. I remember all of it. They have been a pain in my ass since I can remember. Went from Favre, we had a couple years on the Lovey year, we were dominating them, and then Aaron Rodgers started playing, and that hill went to another level. But these young kids, they don't know, they don't care. It's kind of like when the 15, 16 Cubs, when people kept asking about the curse. And they're like, yo, we don't care about that shit. Like, we young. So it's not a thing with the players that I'm worried about. But from a franchise perspective, from a fan base perspective, you can go out here, you can put the Packers to the sword for good. It changes everything about the landscape of the Packers. There's a lot on the line for the Packers as well. There's rumors coming out, Jay Glazer mentioned it yesterday, that they could get rid of Matt LaFleur if they lose on Saturday. By the way, I think win or loss, getting rid of Matt LaFleur would be the dumbest thing that franchise could ever do. Matt LaFleur is not the issue with that team whatsoever. But I would love him out of my division if they're that dumb. But Matt LaFleur's job is semi on the line this week. You paid Jordan Love a lot of money. If he goes out of there and he still only has one playoff win on his resume, there's going to be question marks about that. You got the question marks of when is Micah Parsons is going to come back, and is Micah going to be what he once was? You know, there's a big question with that when it comes to DNs and when it comes to that type of injury. It's going to take a while. So they have a lot of question marks too. A lot is on the line for them. You know, the Bears have won the division title in Caleb's second year as a starting quarterback and Ben Johnson's first year. In the in the 3 seasons that Jordan Love has been a starter, they have still yet to win the NFC North. The Lions won 2, and then the Bears won this year. So there's question marks there as well. So if you can put them to the sword, put them out of their misery twice and in their season, now you put them on you know, in treacherous waters right there. So it's just a lot on line. It's a big game. Obviously, it's the playoffs. Every play matters, but I think there's going to be a magnified feeling on that even more because it is such a rivalry, which has finally become a rivalry. No matter what happens on Saturday, this is a rivalry going forward. This is no longer the Packers just going to always beat the Bears. And honestly, I don't even see this as something where the Bears are just going to be beating the Packers every time. This is going to be mano and mano every game they play, going to go down to wire. And I think this is going to be something that, if I was a neutral, I'd be loving Saturday. I'd be loving everything about it. And you know, there's a lot of people out there don't, because I got to keep remembering that a lot of audience, they're in their 20s, early 20s, and a lot of y'all don't remember the last time the Bears. I saw somebody say, "Oh, this first time Bears Packers made the playoffs." No, it was not. I remember the 2010 NFC Championship game where the Bears lost to Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers and then went on to win the Super Bowl. The game that Jay Cutler got hurt in the second quarter, I think it was, and the Bears still put up a good fight. Caleb Haney had an opportunity to win the game, got intercepted by B.J. Raji. So I know some of y'all remember that. I remember that. I still got, PTSD of Charles Woodson in the locker room at Soldier Field saying, the president don't want to come see us, we going to come to him. So, yeah, I remember all that. And I remember how long it took me to get over that loss. So I don't want that. So, yeah, that's a lot online on Saturday. I'm not going to give my pick yet. I'm going to save that for this week. I'm going to do a preview video that'll drop on Thursday. And, of course, we'll have the actual live show on Friday, too. So Rodgers wasn't good in that NFC Championship either. He wasn't, which makes the loss worse. And that's how I feel about the Super Bowl loss in 2006 as well. Peyton Manning played like shit. And you let Dominic Rose and Joseph Adai run off you. But I'm not going to go down that route again. So, but yeah, a lot on the line. I will say this. I'm not going to give my score yet. I do believe the Bears will win. Like I said, not confident about it, but I do believe they will win. And I think it's going to be very close. Let's go to some positive news. Caleb Williams. Biggest question mark coming to this year. You know, he had a very up and down rookie season with coaches who were just terrible. I mean, Matt Eberflus is going to be unemployed again. the Cowboys 100% going to fire him if they haven't already. I've been on the timeline that much. But in his first year with Ben Johnson, with an offense that actually makes sense, with actual weapons, with an offensive line, he posted the greatest year for a Chicago Bears quarterback ever. He finished with 3,942 yards passing, which is a record. He broke Eric Kramer's record yesterday that he had in 1995. It's been holding for 30 years. Caleb Williams is officially number one in that, and I believe he's going to keep stacking on that his entire career. It'd been fun for him to get 4,000 yesterday, and I do think he would have got it if it wasn't for some of those drops. Luther had a brutal drop. I know Cole had a drop. But he's going to get that 4,000. There's just not a doubt in my mind that's going to happen. He had 31 total touchdowns, 27 passing. I think the last quarterback to even score close to that had to have been like Jay Cutler in like 2011, 2012 or something like that. But what Jay would do, he'd give you about 18 and 20 interceptions to go with that. Caleb only finished with 7. Should have been 6. DJ quit on that route yesterday, but whatever. And 6 fourth quarter comebacks, which is number 1 in the NFL this year. If there's any question marks about anything with the Bears, the question about Caleb Williams has been answered, and I think it's been answered emphatically. I think when we start next season, he will be the number 1 quarterback in the NFC North, and Saturday's result doesn't change my opinion on that. And I think a lot of NFC North fans, if you ask them and they were being for real with you, they would agree with that as well. So it was great. The Bears offense finished top 5. Running game finished in the top 2. And I argue that this was actually the best running game in the league because I feel like the Bills' rushing yards are inflated because a lot of them come from Josh Allen as well. So great season for Caleb. Got to give it up to him. And this is something new for Bears fans. We always wanted a quarterback. We always want to know what it feels like. And even as bad as the game was yesterday, when the Bears came down with an opportunity to tie the game, I felt calm because you knew that he's capable of doing it. He can do it. Even if he has a so-so game, there's just something about when the fourth quarter starts that he just activates. And, you see it time and time again. It didn't work these last 2 weeks. The week before, San Francisco, there was play calling mishap. Ben got the play in too late to Caleb. But he's a baller. He's a baller. And I, feel very confident in saying that we got our guy for the next decade. So now the next step is to build a championship team around him and to do it quickly because in 2027, he is going to be a very rich man. And that's going to lower your chances to build a great roster around him. So take advantage of the rookie deal. So I think you got one more year to take advantage of that, and that's got to be next year. But I absolutely loved what I saw from Caleb. He got better and better and better. His confidence continues to rise. And he's just at peak confidence right now. And that's what I love about it, man. And if there's any confidence that I have or anything that can calm down any fears about this Green Bay matchup is that for the first time ever, the Bears have the better quarterback. And that's something that's comforting to know if the game comes down to the end, we got a guy who can win this game. So that's the good thing for me going into this. So yeah, I feel it's a weird feeling. It's gonna be an interesting week. It's gonna be an interesting week. I'm really interested to see what the preparation is gonna be like. I'm gonna be at Hallis Hall this week to see how the guys are getting ready. This team is gonna this week is gonna tell me a lot about this team. Week is gonna tell me a lot about this team, a lot about this coaching staff, about how they respond from the way this season ended. And if they play their game, I feel like that they should be able to win this one and take care of business and go on to the next round. And that makes things even better because you'd have another home game. Of course, it'll be an upgrade in the opponent over the Packers, but just keep building. Keep building is how I would say about that. Couple other things before we wrap this up. Coach firings in the NFL. Today is Black Monday in the NFL. Has already been a couple firings. Pete Carroll got fired by the Las Vegas Raiders, which is very funny to me because a lot of people were talking about how good he was going to be with the Raiders. A lot of people said Ben Johnson should have went to the Raiders. Both of those are hilarious, and now they're back here doing the same thing. To no one's surprise, Raheem Morris and the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons were fired last night, despite the fact that they won. Trying to think who else got fired today, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened. But what's my man? Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns, he got fired as well. So I'm sure there'll be some other firings filtering out what's going on, but it feels good to not have to worry about that for the first time. So Pete's older as he's on side. Yeah, he do. Pete, you had a great career, won a Super Bowl. Very good lead coach, great college coach. Of course, that dynasty they had at USC, the last time USC football was worth a damn. He's one of the all-times. Yeah, Arizona fired their head coach. The funny thing is I don't even know who the hell Arizona's head coach is. That tells you everything you know about Arizona Cardinal football. So Black Monday getting on to full effect today. So that's very interesting. And also, I just want to say this one thing and go back to the Bears real quick. Now that we're talking about coaches, I saw a lot of people blaming Dennis Allen yesterday, and I tweeted this. I'm gonna say it again. If you blame Dennis Allen for any of these bad defensive performances, with all due respect, you're an idiot. You can have the greatest coach ever. If you don't have the personnel, it don't matter. The team don't have the personnel. People tweet me about scheme and philosophy. Scheme and philosophy is the only reason the Bears lead the league in turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Because of his philosophy. Now, I'm not saying he's above criticism. I just said you criticized Ben Johnson. He probably should have got out of man yesterday. It was getting cooked on man. So, yes, there's things that he needs to do better, like all coaches. But you can't honestly sit down and blame him for how bad the defense has been this entire season, but especially the last couple of weeks. That dumb. I saw people blaming Antoine Randall for the receivers. It's just dumb. Like, we ain't got to do all of that. You can criticize without being ridiculous, and that's where I think that's been at right now. Final thing, let's just my early thoughts on the wild card round. Wild card round this weekend. I can't believe that the season has gone by this damn fast. I really can't. It really feels like I was in training camp just a week ago, and now we're here getting ready for the postseason. So we got the matchups lined up for Saturday. We will start off the playoff slate in Carolina as the Carolina Panthers, who won the NFC South yesterday by way of a Falcons win, despite the fact they lost to Tampa Bay on Saturday night. We'll be hosting the Los Angeles Rams, who finished 12-5, and had a rocky last couple weeks, but they did have a comeback to win against the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. And I saw a lot of people. Every year we do this thing where the NFC South leader or winner hosts the playoff game. We get people come out the woodworks. Oh, it should be based on record. No, bro. Absolutely not. That's what makes the NFL the NFL. That's what makes the NFL exciting, that it's about divisions. The Rams weren't the best team in their division. So obviously 12 wins wasn't enough. The Panthers were. Now, obviously, there's levels about divisions. In my opinion, the NFC South is the worst division in football, but they still won it. So they should be able to hold a playoff game. And if you're as good as your record says, you should be able to win on the road. So that's just a stupid complaint to begin with. The Panthers, I saw somebody say, I saw like a tweet. It was like, oh, well, the trade with the Bears equal win. No, it wasn't. We ain't got to sit up here and lie. It was still a fleecing. The Bears got their franchise quarterback. The Bears got their number one wide receiver. The Bears got a good cornerback in Tyree Stevenson. Got their franchise right tackle in Darnell Wright. They got maybe their number one receiver in Luther Burden all through that trade. And Bryce Young, I feel like we treat Bryce Young like a Make-A-Wish kid. Like, I think Bryce has been okay. I don't think Bryce is anything special. And we like to gas him up just because he started off so badly. But this is a thing to me where it just looks like this is going to be, oh, you got the playoffs. Congratulations. That's good for the Panthers. I think the Rams are going to really do some dirty work. They've been missing Devontae Adams the last couple weeks. Ian Rappaport said this morning that he will be good to go on Saturday. Bryce Young in the playoffs is going to be the funniest viewing experience. Yes, it will be. That is going to be very funny. But the Panthers, even though I don't trust them that much, this Rams defense is buns. So there will be chances to make plays. Did they beat the Rams early? Yeah, they beat the Rams early this year at home. So they'll have their chances. I'm just not expecting much. Obviously, the Saturday night cap is Bears-Packers. Just told you guys what I thought about that game, the reasoning why it's going to be on Amazon Prime, all that good stuff. Then Sunday, we got a triple header. You've got the AFC South division champion Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people, including myself, laughed at the way Liam Cohen said, Duval. And it just looked real bad, looked real cringeworthy. But he came in and he changed that team up. This is the best season to me from Trevor Lawrence, and it really has nothing to do with statistics. Outside of last year, where he was hurt majority of the year, none of his stats actually look bad. But the eye test, he plays so much better this year. The running game has been better. The defense has been better. And they're really a very competitive team, and a team that deserved to win that division. Had a little heat. They had to come back because it's such a hot start by the Colts. The Texans came on late, but they held the fort, held their ground, and won the division title. They're going to be playing the Bills, man. That's so much pressure. I know I had friend of the program, Robert Mays, on the show a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that he doesn't think there's that much pressure on Josh Allen. I disagree. This is his best chance. And I'm not saying that because I believe in the Bills or teams. I really don't. But as far as obstacle-wise, there's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Lamar Jackson. There's none of that. This is your time. And if he can't get it done, at least they got to get the Super Bowl, in my opinion. There's going to be some question marks and conversation that needs to be had. I'm going to give all my picks on Thursday, so I'm not going to give any picks. But Bills-Jaguars, very interesting way to start Sunday off. Niners-Eagles, we talk about rivalries. Obviously, Bears-Packers is historical, the oldest and the biggest rivalry in the NFL, in my opinion. Niners-Eagles has become a real recent rivalry between these two teams, between these two fan bases, and here they meet again. The Niners, I think. I mean, I would love for Coach Lee to be Ben Johnson. I still probably think it will be Ben Johnson. I know Mike Vrabel had a great year, but he has coached before. So not to say the improvement was going to be this expected, but I think that Ben Johnson had a better year than Mike Vrabel just because of expectations. But if I had a vote, that vote would be going to Kyle Shanahan. We sit up here to talk about injuries. They've dealt with so many injuries. Brock Purdy missed a good chunk of the season, and you came in and Mac Jones, held it down for the team. CMC has been out. George Kittle's been out. Trent Williams has been out. Fred Warner's missed almost all the season. Nick Bosa has missed all the season. And they still had a chance on Saturday to be the number one seed. So I believe that's unbelievable, winning 12 games. This Philadelphia Eagles team does not inspire much confidence. I think the only thing that's really in their favor this weekend, obviously they've got the better defense. They'll be at home. It'll be cold outside in Philadelphia. But this offense is just bad. It stinks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I told everybody, people were doing too much with the Jalen Hurts top 5 things. And that's why we got to stop with the QB, with the wins, our QB stat and all that other crap, because of that, y'all thought that Jalen Hurts was a top 5 quarterback. He is not. It looks like an old school Chicago Bears offense. Saquon hasn't looked the same since he was golfing with the president. It's just been all bad for me. AJ Brown looking like he wants to get out. Bad offensive coordinator who all Philadelphia wants to jump. This is a game to me that favors the 49ers 100%. I think the issue would be that obviously Brock Purdy is just not the same quarterback when you have a good defense in front of him. We saw that on Saturday when it came to the Seahawks. Now, the Eagles defense isn't as good as Seattle's, but Eagles defense is still a really good unit, especially with getting Jalen Carter back this week. So that's going to be a good game as well, man. So then you got Sunday night, Chargers, Patriots. I'm a Justin Herbert guy, but I'm honestly don't really have that much to say about him anymore. This is going to be a very blah game, in my opinion. The Patriots, real great year. Offenses look great. Drake May has looked great. Drake May has a chance to be MVP. It's been an interesting game. Very interesting game. First playoff game in the Jim Harbaugh era for the Chargers. So that'd be something to look at. And then on Monday night, of course, there's a Monday night playoff game. On Monday Night Football, this would be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call. The AFC North Division champion Pittsburgh Steelers will be hosting CJ Stroud, that defense, and the Houston Texans. By the way, if you're watching this right now, my computer screen is shaking. If you're new to this channel, you don't know that I live next door to a damn train, and there's nothing I can do when that train start moving. I really feel like they have my show schedule in their train, and they're like, "Fuck Scott, we gon' drive this fucking freight train, leave recording." So there's really not much I can do about that if it's bothering you. So I apologize on that. But this is an interesting matchup to me too. By the way, last night's game on Sunday Night Football was insane. Absolutely insane. I saw that Aaron Rodgers touchdown coming a mile away because that's just what Aaron Rodgers does. It's Aaron Rodgers' first playoff appearance in 4 seasons, which is crazy. And the Texans are, if the Texans had an even somewhat trustworthy offense, I could see a path to this team being in the Super Bowl. That's how good this defense is. Will Anderson, that defense is absolutely scary. And that's, to me, gives them a little edge in this game, where the Steelers' offense and as a whole is already kind of sketchy, not that impressive, doesn't put fear into you. They grind it out and try to beat you with a Hall of Famer at the end of the game. It's going to be very hard to do against this Texans defense. So I think it's going to be very entertaining as well. I just want to say this right now, when we start the playoffs, I have no idea how this shit is going to shake out. None. I've been watching the NFL for almost 30 years, and this is the first time I can ever remember where there wasn't an overwhelming favorite or a juggernaut that everybody just knew, okay, when the dust settles, they're going to be the team that's going to be at the Super Bowl. I have no idea. I can make a case for at least 6 to 7 teams right now to not only make it to the Super Bowl, will win the Super Bowl. And I think last night's AFC North Division Championship game, the Bears-Packers game 2 weeks ago, really just all these games, the Bears Niners game, I feel like every night we get in a classic. You know, we've had the Rams Seahawks game 2 weeks ago. You know, the Rams Niners game on Saturday was good. You know, we've been getting classic after classic every week, where you're going to see the most random Super Bowl matchup you've ever seen. Like one of them Super Bowl matchups you get on Madden when you simulate about 10 years on career mode. You know, you can see something as odd as Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Seattle Seahawks, like something that weird. So I'm excited and also very nervous because of this Bears game on Saturday, man. So that is pretty much all I've got for y'all today on the weekend recap. If you want to check these out every Monday, you gotta subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. The link is in the description box. If you're too lazy to click that link, the QR code is on the screen. If you're watching this on a smart TV or a computer or whatever, you can take your phone, scan the QR code, and it'll take you to all the different tiers. The $79th and Hallis tier, I'm not going to hold you tier. If I were you, I'll subscribe to the $10 Holla. That's the Barbershop Access tier. You get everything. Also, subscribe to my new YouTube channel, man. Subscribe to my new YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody who has subscribed. Appreciate y'all. Want to keep these numbers up. Going to be dropping content on there through the remainder of the NFL season, throughout the NFL season. I'll be doing some special stuff. I got some original shows in the works. So link to that is in the description box. You can also scan the QR code and it'll take you right to my YouTube page, man. So yeah, got a busy schedule this week. Got a lot of stuff dropping. We'll be doing a 79th and Hallis live stream tomorrow. Me and my brother, of course, will get his thoughts on what happened this weekend, his thoughts going to the playoff game, and we're also going to preview the playoff game as well. I'll be dropping a couple videos this week. We're going to talk more in depth about Caleb's numbers. We're going to preview the Bears-Packers game. A lot of content this week. Bears playoffs, biggest rivalry in the sport. As much as I'm nervous, I'm excited. So it should be a big week. Summer sessions will be back Wednesday morning. We're going to record tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We recorded in a couple weeks. So hope y'all enjoyed. First week back in the office for a lot of people. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. I hope y'all had a good holidays. Happy New Year. And in the words of Larry David, no saying Happy New Year after January 7th. So that means y'all have less than 48 hours to get that out your system. You should have gotten all of your 2025 recap videos and posts out of your system as well. So let's just get right into it, man. So that is all I got for y'all. Follow me at Barbershop Scott on all social media platforms. All those links in the description box. I will holler at y'all tomorrow on 79th and Hallis. I'm up out of here.